Okay. Okay. Good morning and welcome everybody to this hot day session. So we are covering today the small hydropower construction, operation and maintenance. And for your kind information, now our resource person has been changed. So I want to apologize because I could not inform you. So to cover this first slot, we have Mr. Rajesh Kumar Sharma. Is a president and bona fide Himalaya Hydropower Developer Association and managing director, Allied Hydro Engineer and Consultant Private Limited, and has 25-year experience in the field of planning and execution of small hydropower projects. Some of the small hydropower executed by him are URC second hydropower 15 megawatt, then another 19, and Jogni second hydropower 5 megawatt and another 1.5 and different ownership basis along with well developers. So Rajesh sir, you are welcome to this training session and you may start up please.
Okay sir, thank you very much. First of all, good morning all. I have been already introduced by the panelists. So, thank you very much for my.
Mr. Rajesh, you can take the slide to the number 1 because this is a little later. You can take the slide up, up still. Yes, maybe one more.
Yeah.
One more, please. One more, please. The first one. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
I have been given topic on construction of small mini micro hydro projects. We shall be dealing with the construction practices and problem associated with project development in next 1 hour. My presentation will be based upon practical problems and solution. I have given 1 hour and 50 minutes to complete the topic, which is more than enough. So I am not good in English, so kindly excuse for the mistake if happens. There are 3 stages of SMM HP development, various steps in carrying out the construction, general problem in construction, challenges in construction. This is the contents of my topic. Meaning of objective is to learn about the process of construction of SHP project. There are 3 stages. One is clearance stage, very critical as it takes most of the time for SHP development. Roughly 4 to 5 years is taken for clearances of hydro project. Rather, for construction of project, it takes only 30 to 36 months. Construction stage we shall be discussing in next 1 hour. And post-construction stage, where operation and maintenance of project and selling of power is addressed. So selling of power is another big issue for the viability of the project, or you are selling the power. That is very important. There are 3 ways of selling power. That is, one is preferential basis, which is fixed for the contractual period. Another one is in open access, and third one is in captive use. So we are
Mr. Sharma, we will be talking about this power purchase sales tomorrow. So my request to you will be that we talk to her. Thank you.
We are not discussing it. We shall be discussing here construction stage. There are pre-construction activities. One is the signing of IA, implementation agreement. All conditions for project developments are incorporated in implementation agreement. The condition of taxes, duties, what to do for the local people against local area development, and what is your social obligations is incorporated into the implementation agreement. So developer has to construct the project as per implementation agreement. Financial tie-up. So this is important pre-construction activity. No one shall start actual work on the project before financial tie-up. We have seen projects stuck in between where financial tie-up was not finalized before start of work. However, it is suggested that developer shall use his equity portion before disbursement of loan in order to avoid IDC on the project. Establishment of labor huts and site office. As you all know that these projects are located in far-flung areas. Basically, all these small hydro projects are in remote areas where good accommodation is not available. So it should be ensured to have good residence and office space before actual execution is started. Otherwise, it will be too difficult for the developer to keep the experienced people on the project site. Again, the selection of site for project office and staff quarter must be selected where drinking water, proper net connectivity, electricity is available, and proper sanitation for the staff and labor. Construction of road up to powerhouse. This is also covered under pre-construction activities, as heavy equipment has to be installed in powerhouses. Therefore, without road to powerhouse, it is not possible to transport E&M equipment to the powerhouse. So construction of powerhouse is essentially required. Therefore, first activity shall be construction of road. This is also covered under pre-construction activities. Construction power. This is also again very important. Without construction power, you can't do anything because welding works has to be done. In old days, most of the SHP were constructed with diesel generators. But as we all know, the cost of diesel is so high nowadays, we must explore for construction power from available grid nearby. This is again ability of construction power. If not available, line has to be laid. Survey for the construction materials such as cement, sand, aggregate and steel shall be explored, as transportation cost is too high in construction of small hydro projects. It contributes a lot. So local supplier for sand and aggregate shall be explored before start of the project. Planning of construction activity as per bar chart. We will discuss it in bar chart slide. Appointment and engagement of staff and labor according to bar chart. If we have to deploy welding team and mechanical engineer, they shall be appointed at the time of when we have to start this hydromechanical works. They should not be engaged at the time of start of work in order to avoid labor charges and these establishment charges. However, civil engineer, mason, buyer, binders, etc. should be appointed, deployed at the time of start of civil works. Yes, surveyor must be deployed from starting to end. This is very important. Without surveyor, we should not start any project that may be as small as 100 kilowatt even. Surveyor is very important. Without surveyor, there can be a reverse grade and etc., which should not happen in project development. Planning of construction activities as per bar chart. This is again another one is setting up of quality control lab for testing of these following tests should be conducted, which is written over here. So this will not cost very high. It will cost roughly 50,000 to 2 lakhs according to the equipment and quality of equipment you want to procure for the setting up of labs. But it is very important because most of projects in hydro, small hydro projects, they escape this test. They should not. This is very important. Small lab does not make many cost for the project. It is stuck. This is bar chart. Construction schedule. Before start of any project, one should prepare a construction schedule. Construction schedule gives us clarity of planning people. What material and labor is required at what time can be assured properly from bar chart only. For construction SHP, in generally 30 months are required and also allowed by the government. And if planned properly, lot of money can be saved in IDC. How it affects IDC effects? If you want to start the diversion weir, say we should start it from the lean season at September and should end up in
IDC stands, sorry to disturb, IDC stands for interest during construction. You know, if you are having a longer life of, if you take a longer time for execution, then you have to pay the interest during construction. So IDC is very commonly used, but those who are not aware, is IDC is the interest during construction. Thank you.
Yes, this IDC can be avoided if we plan the project properly. If we plan the project properly, we should not construct any component prior to its use. If it has to be used during commissioning, near to commissioning of the project, such as this, you can say this electromechanical equipment. You can see here it is started from the 15th month onwards and will end up at 30th month. Means you have to order the E&M equipment shall be ordered 15 months before completion is scheduled. So it will not contribute to any IDC on the project. Now we will take one by one component. This is diversion side. This is only the component which will be under water and is to be constructed inside the water rather. Rest of all the components are to be constructed beyond flood level at a safer side. So in hilly SHP, normally construction of weir is taken up during winter season. Winter season is a leanest season for construction of weir. So we should start.
Mr. Sharma, sorry to interrupt again. There is a block coming on the top of the screen, which is obstructing actually the view. The titles are missing. So can you either you stop it? There is a pin there. You can remove that. Yes, can you do that? No, it's not coming up. So this is disturbing actually. The title is hidden. I know it's not gone. It's not gone, and I don't know how to go with that.
Yes, it is gone now.
That's very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the help, for the guidance rather. Construction of diversion site possible in lean season as discharge is less in stream. Why we should take up this diversion structure construction during winters? During winters because water is less, so we have not to make any diversion tunnel to make the space dry. We can divert it temporarily for one side first, then to other side. So we can construct weir without diverting the water through diversion, temporary diversion tunnel or diversion structure. This saves a lot of money. As topic is given to me how to make it viable. So these are small things which can be done for construction of hydro project where we can save money without compromising to the quality. Due to, yes, there is a problem due to winter setting time for cement concrete is very less. So quick setting liquids are used. It is available in the market nowadays, which gives with accelerate setting of cement. It increases cost, but if we say it with respect to diversion of tunnel cost, it hardly cost very much. Working hours are less during winters hours, so extra man days are required to complete the weir. Yes, we should ensure it that the this weir should be completed before onset of the summer, because our summer oblique rainy season, because in discharge increases, which will definitely damage the work done on the weir side. So it should be completed before. And in order to make these projects environment friendly, lot of people may be knowing it, that nowadays we are constructing all the projects with the installation of roof wheels. Where transport, all the construction material is transported through roof wheels up to the weir site also. Although it increases labor cost, but the cost of road to be constructed up to weir site is saved. And it is environment friendly also, no destruction to the environment. This is a weir site. You can see here there is no road. All this weir is constructed through tunnel. Here you can see this is an intake tank, and tunnel is constructed. This is trash rack constructed over here. You can see there is no road. All the material is transported through this tunnel only up to this place. So tunnel was constructed first. The material was shifted to weir site. Then this weir was constructed. This intake was constructed. However, this gate, which is again a very heavy equipment, you can say a very heavy structure. So ropeway cannot take this material up to here. It is advised either it should be taken to weir site through tunnels or in pieces and can be welded at the later stage. This is intake and gravel trapper. The simple civil engineering is required. Only gears should be ensured. Transportation of gears should be ensured through tunnel. A D-tank. Desilting tank is another critical part of small hydro project. Even smallest to smallest hydro project should have desilting tank. Otherwise, the life of the electromechanical equipment will not be too high. In hilly SHP, normally D tank is constructed in open space, but in hilly hydro, space is not available. Everywhere space is not available. So underground D tank are preferred. If the tunnel is constructed in the project, D tank should be designed in such a way so that tunnel length with some extra width can be utilized for deseating purposes. Deseating is, as you know, all our engineers, the volume of the water should makes the design of the deseating tank. If we increases the length of the deseating tank with respect to by reduction of width, the settling time of this deseating tank can be more, maybe more, and cost reduction of cost also there, because inside the tunnel you don't require big structure, and this deseating, this flushing pipe, this added tunnel can be used for this. You can see in next slide. This is mucking tunnel. Mucking tunnel constructed for to remove the muck from the tunnel. This has been utilized for silt flushing. At the later and after completion of the project, this tunnel has been utilized for silt flushing, and another tunnel was constructed here for mucking. This was also mucking from top of the deseating tank, and this is used now as an inspection tunnel. So it reduces cost. You can make these small changes into the design which can make your project viable. Another is a water conductor. All the hilly terrain have C or U type hills. You know, underground water conductors preferred instead of water conductor to reduce the length. Instead of open conductor, tunneling is done. So underground tunneling is good where strata of the rock is found. It is very difficult to make the tunnel in loose strata as installation of reef is costly. So we should ensure it that strata of the area is very, as surface geology is done in case of small hydro. So expert should ensure it that strata is very good, so tunneling can be done without installing the reefs. So all these makes the project viable. Construction of tunnel is preferred, and these days developer prefer to install steel liner inside the tunnel instead of concrete lining, although it is costly, but saves times and head also increases. It saves a lot of time, as you know, this lining is lengthy process. Lining with the concrete lining is a lengthy process, so steel liner can be transported through ropeways and wastage of material will be less. All the water conductor pipes are also shifted on ropeways. Last component on upstream is 4-way tank and surge shaft. Surge shaft is normally constructed in large hydro as discharge is high, but nowadays in hilly SHP we prefer to construct surge shaft instead of 4-way tank, as it removes it. There is no involvement of spillway system. Capital cost of such shaft is little bit higher, but if we remove the cost of the spillway system, it saves a lot. And overall head is also increased. So power potential studies is done. In case of surcharge, a lot of money is saved because of increase in head. In most of the cases, rather in every hilly hydro project, there is no road available up to surcharge also. So all material shifted through ropeway here also. Although there is lot of wastage of material, but still this is advisable to construct the project with installation of ropeway. This is surcharge, you can see here, and this is penstock. Laying of penstock in SHP is most difficult task because it is a heavy, pipes are very heavy, 3 to 400 kg of pipe pieces. Weight of the pipe pieces normally in SHP has to be laid. So we should install ropeways in such a way that material could be shifted. This pipe could be shifted very easily along the penstock. This is you can see this is the penstock laid along the hills, along the ridge, without destructing any hill, without destructing the profile of the hill. And this anchor block saddles are constructed along the hills. So fabrication of penstock shall be done nearer to the project site so that transportation cost could be avoided. Small bending machine and pressure welding shall be installed in fabrication workshop. Adequate space shall be kept for storage of fabricated pipe. As it should also be ensured during erection of penstock that conduit or cable tray shall be laid along the penstock up to surcharge during penstock erection only, as cable are to be laid for penstock protection wall, lighting and signal cables for water level sensor. So during erection of penstock, it is very easy, but we overlook this aspect. But at later stage, crossing of these anchor blocks crossing is very difficult, and laying of cables up to such shaft also is very difficult. This is ropeway. Penstock is shifted through ropeway. The carriage of material, this ropeway should be erected, installed in such a way that each and every component where we require material, construction material, such as here we require the construction material for construction of this anchor block. So there should be some unloading point to stack the material, and although for this saddle blocks we require less material, so for saddle construction of saddle material can be shifted from this place. During construction of the saddle and anchor block, we require water for curing of this here, so water should also be ensured properly. This is a last step for construction of small hydro project. Component is powerhouse. Generally there is no road available powerhouse as we discussed earlier. Therefore, first step to start the project is construction of road up to powerhouse. If space is available, surface powerhouse may be constructed. We should avoid underground construction of powerhouse as it costs very high. So if space is available, we should construct surface powerhouse. But simultaneously, adequate space for switchyard construction shall be available near to powerhouse. Switchyard should be adjoining to powerhouse, as length of the cables should be very less. Length of the cable, this is power cables from powerhouse, and this to carry power from powerhouse to switchyard, we have to lay cables. If the length of the cable is more, there will be lot of losses which will contribute lot for the 40 years for the project life. So it should be ensured that your switchyard should be adjoining to powerhouse. It is easy for operation and maintenance if switchyard is adjoining to powerhouse. Now, if space is not available, we should not shift our switchyard to another place, but we should consider to construct a powerhouse underground. It will be safe, easy for operation and maintenance, and muck dumping can be utilized for switchyard space. Evacuation of power is another problem in SHP. So before construction is started, it should be analyzed that evacuation is available nearby. Many projects have become unviable due to non-availability of evacuation facility available in nearby area and lengthy transmission line also add up to the cost. This is one of the powerhouse, 15 megawatt quasi powerhouse, 2 into 7.5 megawatt. This is underground. The head of this power on this powerhouse is 320 meter, and these machines have been installed over here. So this is switchyard. Now see, this is constructed on muck dumping. Muck removed from powerhouse was dumped here, and later on this was utilized for construction of switchyard. So lot of civil cost is saved in it because no extra cost has involved into the construction of this switchyard. Civil cost was totally saved because for muck dumping, all the civil activity was done in muck dumping only. So these are small things which can contribute to the saving in overall cost of the project. Now, general problem in construction of SHP. It may not be applicable to all, but still I will say this is to be discussed over here, what we have faced in 25 years of experience, what are the general problems in construction of SHP. Demand for construction of road, bridges, playgrounds, Mahila Mandal, Bhavan, temple construction, etc. by local bodies is a major problem which is not inbuilt in the project cost. As you all know that these all project sites are in very remote areas, far-flung areas, where population is very less. So when we go for the construction of the project into these areas, they feel, the people living over there feel disturbed, although their demography of the area also changed. So they try to bargain for their development also. It is obvious that if you disturb somebody, he will ask the cost for himself also. These are such type of problems. In some cases, cash is demanded by Devta committees. Local Devtas are there, so they make this committees and demand money for Devta committees and distribute among themselves. But these all are not inbuilt into the project cost. So, as per my experience, I will suggest all the developers, whosoever is going for the development of the project in future, they should keep this into mind, that this will definitely attribute to them for construction of project. Old age pension, unemployment allowance demanded by local panchayat, extension on account of false damage to build house near to the project, demand for appointment of teachers and paramedical to the project site. These are all common issues which will come into the picture for every developer. In hilly area, reliability of grid electricity is not very good. So power backup for construction of power is required. Normally for small SHP up to 25 megawatt, we require 200 kilowatt construction power. So half of it shall be the power backup. So minimum of 125 kV of diesel generator shall be installed. Yes, the storage and carriage of diesel for construction power is another issue. One should ensure that proper storage should be available for the diesel, otherwise this will cost very high. Capacity of we can select the capacity of the diesel generator for construction of power in such a way that it can be this diesel generator can be utilized for power backup of powerhouse auxiliaries later on, because every powerhouse requires power backup. So the generator used during the construction activities can be used for the auxiliary consumption later on. So it will also save the cost for the developer. Non-availability of construction material near to the project site. This is, as I discussed above, that transportation cost is very high. Project is all these projects are in far-flung areas. So ability of aggregate and sand shall be explored prior to start of work. As what we are doing in nowadays, present practice, as we are digging tunnels, so we have lot of muck, producing lot of muck. So project authorities plan to produce aggregate and sand with the installation of small stone crusher units at weir site, search shaft, muck dumping site. This will not only mitigate the problem of construction material, rather reclamation of muck, which is again a big problem, can be done with installation of these small crushers. It saves lot of cost, transportation cost as well as material cost. So one should definitely plan for installation of these small crushers. Another problem is due to low temperature in hilly region, welding and concreting requires special attention. Therefore, this work has to be scheduled as per climatic condition. Welding work should not be done at all during winters, otherwise cracks will appear. So in some cases where the urgency is required, we have to heat up the pipe. This is very costly affair. So we should plan laying of penstock, especially during summers when there is very good temperature. So we can accordingly plan this. Working season in hilly are very limited. Prolonged rainy season may attribute to less working season. So what project management should do? The construction activities should be designed in such a way that during rainy season, labor and staff may not remain idle. Therefore, during rainy season and winters, we should do underground works such as tunneling, underground powerhouse, underground deseating tank. Such planning will adhere the construction schedule also prepared for the project development. Again, this is very important. All the developers should know it, that supply order for plant and machinery shall be placed not before 15 months for completion schedule. It should be ensured that adequate space and storage for machinery near to the powerhouse is created before arrival of first consignment. Now, why 15 months prior to completion period? Still, this will lead to IDC, because if you place the order on the first instance or at the start of the project, the money required for the this E&M equipment supplier will demand for the advance, and when he will prepare all the machinery or manufacture all the machinery, he will ask for the transportation also. So, for loading and unloading of heavy equipment such as generator, turbine and butterfly, spherical valves installation of crane inside the powerhouse shall be erected before its arrival. Now you can correlate it. If we place the order of E&M equipment at the start of the project, it will be delivered in the midway. At that time, there will be no space for its storage. Powerhouse is not constructed, loading and unloading will be another problem, and you are definitely investing huge amount without any use of it. So it should be ensured that first consignment of electromechanical equipment should reach to the site at the time of first stage concreting of machinery foundation is casted. Sometimes the delivery of E&M equipment and construction of powerhouse does not match. In those cases also, heavy IDC makes project time unviable, as storage of E&M has to be done outside the project area. So, loading and unloading and E&M equipment outside the project periphery cost heavily, as we have to unload first at one space at storage, then we have to reload it and to unload it and at another place, and we have to create storage place also. So this should be planned in such a way that machinery from E&M equipment supplier will directly go to the project site. The project management must ensure the supply of E&M equipment and construction of powerhouse in such a way that unloading is ensured inside the powerhouse with the crane installed. As this generator and turbine are very heavy equipment, and that generator may be for 7.5 megawatt, the generator weight will be around 40 tons. So you cannot have the crane available at these remote areas to unload such a heavy equipment. So the crane installed inside the powerhouse has the capacity to unload these heavy materials, so it should be planned properly. So another big problem is transmission line. Evacuation arrangement shall be ensured before commissioning of project. It should also be ensured that transmission line beyond interconnection point should have adequate capacity to carry the total installed capacity of the plant plus 20% CUL. Normally what is happening, we are thinking about the evacuation of our power up to the interconnection point. But when we reach at the interconnection point, the DISCOM says that there is no capacity beyond this point. So when we are going to install a plant, we must ensure that either this line constructed by the DISCOM have adequate capacity to transport the power up to the user place or not. So all arrangements such as power purchase agreement, interconnection agreement, test certificates from different agencies like Chief Electrical Inspector, Meter and Testing Department, Protection and Testing Department, and Safety Cell of Nodal Agency, all clearances shall be obtained before COD, commercial operation date, fixed for the projects. These are chronology which shall be followed for to make this project commercially operated. Before commercial operation, there are a lot of clearances required from MNT, PNT and nodal agencies and from Chief Electrical Inspector, etc. So all these clearances should be obtained before finalization of this COD date. Now challenges during construction of SHP plant. We are going to discuss challenges which we have normally facing in hydro development. Laws and rules for transfer of land are not simplified. Normally, this SHP have two type of lands. One is forest land and another one is private land. If the private land is involved, falls in alignment of the project, separate procedure has to be adopted for acquisition of land. In those cases where private land falls in project alignment, parallel activity shall be started with FCA so time could be saved. Because this is a lengthy process, maybe in every nation to acquire the private land is a big issue. So FCA itself takes a lot of time. So we should start this acquisition of private land simultaneously through negotiation or through acquisition rule. Delaying the clearances like forest clearance. Forest clearance takes a lot of time and very lengthy procedure is adopted. Although small hydro is a green energy, as we all know, and categorized at wide category industry, still all clearances like Gram Sabha, IPH, PWD and fisheries are required. Yes, in our country we do not require any water license till date, which is applicable in some countries. We are making all out efforts as a president of the association. We are making all out efforts to ease out the procedure. Delay in techno-economic clearance, this is not a big issue. Delay in obtaining NOCs from Gram Sabha Fishery IPH department, I have already discussed. Non-availability of reliable data. Yes, this is again very important. Small hydro projects are constructed on small streams and no discharge observatories are established for long-term discharge measurement. Only 2 lean season, that is maximum of 2 years, discharge is observed. So no long-term data 10 to 15 years is available for the stream. We do catchment analysis with respect to available discharge series of nearby stream having similar catchment characteristics. In absence of long-term series, measure discharge reliability effects. Therefore, in order to ascertain the design discharge, other methodology like regression method and rainfall data analysis apart from catchment analysis are conducted. So poor infrastructure facilities, this is we have already discussed. Still, due to poor connectivity, it is suggested that management must ensure proper stock of construction material for rainy and winter season so that labor is not wasted. I am within time? I think so. Complicated procedure for financing of SHPs. Since these projects are high-risk projects on account of flash floods, cloud burst, and earthquake, the financial institutions are conservative in financing of hydro projects. We had several rounds of meetings with financial institutions to convince them that these projects are very viable, as no raw material cost is involved and PPAs are for long term, as long as 40 years. So this sector should be treated differently with respect to other industries. Now financial institutions are...
Sharma sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, interrupt you. I would like to say that let us focus only limited to the construction part. And I would now request you, please explain, please give some examples of difficulties or challenges you have faced, because you have executed so many good projects of a small hydropower. So if you can cite one or two or few examples so that our participants get benefit on there. These are the things which other sectors are being taken. So my request to you, you can cite some good examples or some one or two experience. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. This is one of the example. This was surface water conductor was laid over here. Just see, with the flash flood, this surface water conductor has washed out. So, as I suggested earlier, the tunneling is safest part, safest activity, and it is very safe to construct the tunnel for maybe for small SHPs of 1.8 meter dia. What we have faced, what is the biggest problem in hydro development? That is, one is transportation of heavy equipment up to the project site. That is very tough because roads are very small. So you have to survey all along the roads up to the national highway, whether your heavy machinery could be transported to the project site without widening of the roads. Otherwise, widening of the roads will construct too high, will cost attribute to the project. Another problem is evacuation of power. Evacuation of power is definitely a big challenge for all the hydro developers. So all developers should ensure that proper evacuation is available. Geological surprise is always there. So before selecting any site, we should ensure that geological, because surface geology is done in small hydro project. So we should be able to make it that strata inside the tunnel must be good. As you can see here, the rock was good outside, but inside this geology is very poor. Now you have to put the ribs inside it. If this happens, the cost of the project goes very high. We have seen many projects has become unviable because of poor geology. So these are the challenges which can be, maybe I have taken all the points. So how we can reduce the cost, that is very important. To plan it properly, IDC should not attribute to the project. If you take very long time in construction of project is always unviable. And another one is which we should do for the project construction, that is installation of roof beams. I think it is not done earlier in many projects. We have constructed all the projects till now. 15-20 projects I was associated into construction of projects and planning and construction of 15 to 20 projects. We have installed for all projects we have installed roof beams. It makes sense. It is environment friendly, and construction of roads up to the weir site or search shaft cost heavily, and it is not advisable, not at all. Road should only be constructed up to powerhouse. This is all from my side, sir. Thank you very much. I request Arun Kumar ji to take over, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful presentation. You finished, I think, 16 minutes earlier, sir. If there is anything to elaborate, you can do more 5 to 6 minutes.
No, Mr. Podal, I requested him that he should keep 15 minutes for discussion. So we like to get invoke of the discussion that please, dear participants, please raise your queries and curiosity about these kind of challenges which small hydropower people, face. Construction stages, as you know, one of the picture which you can see where this happens. So I request all of you, please raise your queries and your questions regarding the construction of the projects, please. So please come up with one of the things I would like to mention, which Mr. Rajesh Sharma did not do because he has not constructed the projects in plain area. In plain areas, those projects which are on canal falls, they are in the plain areas. One of the difficulty where it comes that your dewatering, because most of the turbines will be placed quite, maybe 2-3 meter, 4 meter, 5 meter below the ground, maybe even 7-8 meter below the ground, because you had to have a cavitation avoidance. And in that series, and since it is a canal, the groundwater level is always there high, it's almost a meter or 2 meter, and you have to make the excavation 10 meter below, right? And then you have a big area and running canal is running, and that's dewatering become challenges. And also sometimes what happens, the ground does not have good bearing capacity. So the ground can also go for a piping, sometimes the piping can happen and the whole ground is burst out. And that's one of the challenge has been seen at many small scale hydropower plants of few megawatts near canal, the canal falls, which are very close to the river, because those areas, the groundwater is quite, shallow, and those are the big challenge. Similarly, those projects, those powerhouses, which are relatively closer to which normally have, and if you have a deeper excavation, especially the turbines like Francis, where the turbines like Pelton, no issue because Peltons are above the water level, but the turbines like Francis turbine, where setting will be, many times below the tailwater level, and these challenges are quite often. Mr. Rajesh, would you like to speak something on that? If any other project you faced these kind of dewatering challenges, because estimation of dewatering become a challenge because you really don't know for how long the dewatering will happen, and every dewatering is a costly affair because you have to pump it out, and also if you don't pump out for a few hours, it becomes as it is, all water comes. So that is a big challenge. So Mr. Rajesh, would you like to speak something about that?
No, sir, we have not faced such type of problems.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir.
You have a question, Udar Logus, please. Udar Logus, you have a question. You raise the hand. You can unmute yourself. Please go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Professor. Mr. Rajesh, thank you for the presentation. And my question is basically out of curiosity. So I saw that, like, you showed some pictures about the damages due to erosion and say bad soil conditions. So if we do a proper geological survey in advance, and does it make financial sense to make remedial action for such sort of say issues in, like, problems in geology, or like what's the approach for that sort of things? Like, if you know that there might be a issue, are there ways to overcome those sort of problems, or should we just scrap the project altogether?
Yes, sir. As you asked for geological investigation, for small hydro projects, geological investigation is not required, but component fixing is very important. This is an experienced engineer can fix the component very precisely at a very safe location. Because these small streams has a violent floods during rainy season. So rear side and component nearer to sea shall be selected in such a way that it should not get away with the high floods. Geological investigations doesn't make sense for any, because geology inside any stream, any hilly region is very good, but it is not, you cannot ascertain whether it is good inside or outside without investigation. So investigation, geological investigation make project unviable, I think so. We have not done any geological investigation on any projects so far for small hydro.
With Mr. Rajesh Sharma, in many situations, the geological investigation, if not to that extent, what you do in the large scale, but at some time the geological investigation, the poor geology are required, and especially those which are having the lower bearing capacity of areas, this will be, they may be required, but not extensive like large hydro. But in some of the cases with small hydro in Himalayan belt, some locations are required. I would say that, but all depend judgment. But if you do your question is what the investment, this sense, your question was whether it's an investment sense to put the money in the geological investigation. If you ask me if I am ready to geological surprises, I'm ready to bear the cost of additional if it happens. I would like to say invest in the investigation first. Though it may, initially it looks very heavy cost, but I would say that this is not really going to be heavy cost, because if you are able to design properly with those conditions, because your decision will be a considered decision, not will be a perspection of, your judgment basis. That will be on, it's like, measuring a fever, whether you with a thermometer or I just have I have a high temperature like this. So this is what I would like to recommend, that measurement should be carried out. Extent you can always make it a bit different depending on the site, like for a 1 megawatt unit, 500 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt unit, perhaps those investigations not at all required. But in the time of 20 megawatt, it's a big investment. You had an investment of something about $30 million of investment. So that deserves a proper investigation support. Dr. Chaminda, please. You have some question. Mr. Rajesh, you want to speak?
No, sir. It's all right, sir. If it is a bigger project, then definitely geological investigation is required, especially at the weir site. Especially at the weir site. But in small hydro, if it is poor geology is there, one should avoid to construct such project.
That's it. That's it. That's a good idea. That if you have a not a favorable condition, avoid there. But if it is, you think that this can be doable, but then do the investigation, because that investment, I would like to say, will pay back you very well. Let me tell you, though I found that they cut sorry figure, they had to put double money, and then people will go with the judgment. That's not a good idea. Dr. Chaminda, please.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation and the opportunity. Just a quick, maybe a comment. If possible, I'm not sure whether we got different bits and pieces of different aspects, selection of machines, geology, all these tests and everything being covered. Is there a session to showcase a case study? Like you show this is a project, the proposal came like this, and this is the catchment, this is the map, and this is the civil designs, how it was done. And this is how the ropeway, the transport was done, and these things how happened. These were the machine installation, leveling, something like that. Maybe a brief video or a presentation would be great resource, I think, to make
All
it
right.
together.
You will have Dr. Chaminda. You will have in session today 2:30 to 3:30. Mr. Goyal going to speak some of his own projects, and he will be talking to you. But about the film, we will upload it. We have 1 or 2 films. We would like to upload it. We would not like to put a time in the session wise, but we will upload it so that you can see it leisurely. We don't want to spend, but then we will show you some of the laboratory things. We would like to show it here, which you can't see otherwise,
Yes, sir,
like laboratories or things. Yes. Yes, Mr. Rajesh.
I will send some videos on the transportation of material through ropeways to you, sir.
Yes.
Construction activities. We have many films on the construction of the project. So
I would say, Rajesh sir, you share with me. I will upload in the MS Team so that our participants can get a view of that. One of the things I would like to mention, though Mr. Rajesh has mentioned very clearly, transportation and erection of penstock in the difficult terrain is quite a big challenge. Because if you start constructing a road, that road becomes itself is a project. You take a 5-year, clearances, forest clearance, this clearance, construction, a big money. So many times our entrepreneur or our people are using, not only in India, even Nepal or many places, because they are, which I know quite well, that people are using ropeways, temporary ropeways, though they are for material handling. Even sometimes people use transportation, which is not a very good idea, that you can have a man transport. But there are, even in Himachal Pradesh, from where Mr. Rajesh Sharma has executed many projects, they use ropeway very extensively for transportation of apple from one to this. Very local. No ISO, no Indian standard. All local, transporting the apple from one side to another side. Truckloads, hundreds of trucks of loads are transported by the ropeways, and such ropeways are there. Maybe, if not wrong, maybe in the 500 and 1,000 in numbers, because Himachal Pradesh is a land where apples are grown quite heavily. So I would suggest that this ropeway, if Mr. Rajesh, you have some film, I will be very happy to if you can share with us so that our participants can benefit of it. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. I will definitely share. We have transported this excavator. We cut the excavator into many parts. Body of the excavator into many parts. Transported it through this ropeway up to search shaft. Then transported through tunnel up to weir site, and assembled it there, and excavated all the weir site as well as desilting tank with the excavator. This saves lot of money.
Yes.
Lot of money. So planning should be done in such a way. What activities has to be done, has to be started at what time. This is very critical in hydro development. It saves money. It makes sense also.
In fact, I have shown you photograph yesterday, but straight line photograph. I was just telling you that this belongs to is a shopkeeper, motor spare part shopkeeper. That penstock has been laid using the ropeway, because it's a straightforward. So ropeway is quite heavy, and in Nepal also Many times people use helicopter. One time helicopter, bring that equipment there, and then you keep on handling. And in of course, I'm not talking a foreign country, but I'm talking our own country. Helicopters has not been used in much, but tomorrow, helicopters in India, helicopters have been used quite many times for raising the electrical lines, on the railway track. The tower for the electrical lines, they have been raised by helicopter, because in few minutes or half an hour you are able to erect it very quickly. So if you want the speed, it helps you. So there are many ways where you can cut down the time, and if you cut down the time, your ITC is reduced, your realization of electricity is quickened, and that gives you very nice. I yesterday gave an example that 6 months I have seen a project of 12 megawatt commissioned in 6 months time. But then conditions were, and here in the hills, not on the plain. But then the planning has to be superb. Nature has to support you. Suppose you are in an area where your climatic condition does not support you for such a long period, 6 months. Then you can't do like in a high altitude where you have snow and the one side you have the rainfall on the other side. Those things may not happen. So, Mr. Mahbub, you have something, you have raised the hand.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you for giving me chance. My question is to Rajesh, sir. We have seen in the previous presentation that penstock are installed following the hill profile since the project done in the hilly areas. So we are also trying to do our projects in the hill areas since due to climate change, the rain pattern changed, and within very short period of time, heavy rain occurred. Like a couple of years ago, within 3-4 days, 1200 millimeter rain happened, and dangerous landslide occurred, and 120-30 people died. So if we follow the hill terrain or hill profile to install our power station and the penstock, everything, what are the precautions we may take, keeping in mind that extreme events can happen? Thank you.
Generally, all the penstocks in hilly terrain, we should follow the ridge of the hill. Penstock should be erected on the hill of the hill. There are precautions to avoid the rolling stones. To avoid the rolling stone, it is very important that this penstock should be installed on the ridge of the hill. Where you say
Rajesh sir, you are muted. You have to turn on your mic.
राजेश जी आपका म्यूट हो गया, हाँ बोलिए.
Yes, sir. Nothing special precautions are required. Only the precaution is to take the penstock along the ridge of the hill. This is the special precautions required for the penstock erection. No hill disturbance. Ridge should not be disturbed. It should be laid along the profile of the ridge. Only small cutting should be done. I have shown you, I have given some pictures about the penstock laying. I will share with Dr. Arun Kumar. Definitely, we have laid many projects where we have laid it along the hills, along the ridge of the.
One more thing I would like to give a caution here while laying down the penstock for a longer length, where it is not a steep slope, but a slope is mined. You must ensure that the pressure penstock does not go to a negative pressure, because if you have a negative pressure, somehow then that penstock can be, can become like a paper. It will become like a damage. So you have to be careful. I've seen one of the project in 12 megawatt project. That was a government project where they have a 2 kilometer long, but then terrain was like that. It was going like up, it's going down and up. So while laying it down, there has been a situation where it became negative, and then pressure penstock was damaged. And penstock also has to be tested at site for its pressure, design pressure. Even though you have done a good X-ray checking, so penstock is very sensitive material, which Mr. Rajesh has very nicely has explained during his presentation. I would like to see any more questions. Anybody? Pawan Adhikari, you are there, Rinjan Gorji, and anybody like to say? Then otherwise we will be now closing the, then I will hand over to Mr. Podal. Yeah, Mr. Rajesh, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Have you done the ultrasonic? Are you doing the ultrasonic testing and this DPG testing for penstock during penstock erection?
No, we don't do it, but we have capacity here. We have the instrumentation. No. We do sometime for some. No, these people do it. No, these people do it. Mr. Mehboob, do you do that ultrasonic testing and X-ray testing and hydrostatic pressure testing of the penstock?
No, sir, not yet. You have done any testing. We need support about this.
No, you would require. These are the very normal standards, procedures you need to follow. Otherwise, penstock can give you a very bad scene. In fact, our another speaker I requested for this section, he has, I would say, lost a lot of money on account of pressure penstock. Something about $1 million he has lost in one of the project because of the penstock failure. And penstock got failure not because of him. The material was of very good quality. In fact, it won many awards. But during the penstock, because it was under different temperature zone, and it burst out. It burst out like a like a clay. If you want, I can show you a picture. Maybe I show you tomorrow. I have a picture of that. And Rajeshji, that project of Mr. Verma, he has sent me those photographs. So I would like to share with you. I don't want to frighten you. Please understand.
That was a material fault, rather.
Yes, that was a material fault. No, but I'm saying is that even a award-winning material can give you magic. You can give you surprises at site because of different conditions. The
selection of material for the penstock is really very important.
So if anybody has a questions, I would like to hand over to Mr. Podal, please.
Okay, sir.
Over to you, Mr. Podal. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir, for this very interactive session. So today we have scheduled a small snapshot photograph. So I request all the participants to come on camera, please. So Noman, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, everybody show up your smile face.
Smile?
Yes,
Smile.
Yes. I could see some female our good participants. So please speak also. Dilara, please speak during the conference so that the class become, the group becomes a little bit. So please,
They can say only hi, hello, isn't it, sir? If they have not genuine question, they can say hi, hello. Because
Semin is there. I could see some of photographs, some of the, I invite you. Yes.
I request you to make the large gallery. There are many
that's
people.
49. We can have only 49. 9. How many are there? 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 into 7, 56.
56.
But make it 2, Vinith. Yeah, make it to 2. नहीं प्रेजेंटेशन हाँ एक आगे चलता है ना शिफ्ट करो इट्स ओनली नहीं नीचे है ना 1/2 नीचे देखो 1/2 आप देखो आएगा balance will come here. Not everybody is I got yes it will be there.
Please, yes. Be sure their name is also displayed or not, clear
yes.
or not.
Yes.
Name should be readable, sir.
Yeah, names are there. Names are names है ना आपके पास? Yes. Yeah, I see many participants from Sri Lanka with the women participants, so I'm very happy to see them now on the screen. But I would like to request them to speak also, so that you know, not only Mehboob or not only Dr. Chaminda or not only me speaks, you also speak. People would like to get your you know, your experience and your observations also in the group.
Yeah, hello, I am Prasanna. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Certainly.
I am from University of Peradeniya. Hello.
Go ahead. You have any query or just said like this? That University of Peradeniya, I have, you know, our institute has for some time in an MOU. I visited there, and yeah, then you know, Vida Kuhn of the swinging department happened to be, you know, a few times here, and it's one of the I think one of the excellent university of the country, and you have a very excellent international outreach.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Because
I see that.
yeah, one time I sat for your class also in Tokyo.
That was okay.
Yeah.
But that was only 2-hour session. But Peradeniya is a nice setting also. That very natural. It's a very natural setting. Good, you know, good weather, good thing. And above all, Scandi is a bit place. I think it's one of the very nice places in the world.
Sir, can I ask one question from
Yeah,
the
come and visit
participants?
us anytime.
Please go ahead, Mr. Rajesh. Why not?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I would like to know what is the ability of this experienced professional in their country. As we know, in our country, few states where hydro projects have been constructed, skilled and experienced professionals are available, like in Himachal Pradesh, but they are few in number. That AHEC is conducting lot of short-term courses on development of hydro projects time to time. I am also benefited out of that. I had many courses at AHEC. So, but in Himachal Pradesh, we have one hydro engineering college has been established. So, in few years down the line, we should have the engineers, especially from the from this sector. What is the scenario in your country, in your nation? Anybody can speak. What is how much experienced people are available, professionals are available, like Dr. Saab in your.
No, I think I'll let them say it about, but I like to say that Sri Lanka, Nepal, lot of expertise lives, lots of expertise. In fact, Nepal even export the expertise to many other countries. Similarly, some of the expertise from Sri Lanka has been exported to the even Africa. They have very good, excellent universities and excellent professionals, and they are also participating in similarly the Bhutan. So, but in this, in addition to, if anybody from Sri Lanka or Nepal like to add what query, Mr. Rajesh Sharma, if you can answer them, it's fine. Otherwise, on your behalf, I already spoken it. But if you are you want to speak, please go ahead. And I can see Phil Young from Myanmar. You know, Phil Wang from Myanmar. Can you speak a little bit from Myanmar? I be getting a participant from Phil Wang Young. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Phil Wai On.
Yeah. You remember for the quarter that we had a student of Mr. Young from Myanmar. He was from irrigation department.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the classmate.
Yes.
Yes, happy to see you, sir.
Very good. Very good. So I think with this we like to close now session and see you at 2:30.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, how many participants are participating in this training, from which country, can we know? And is there any common platform for the hydro experts where we can get newsletters, updates, technologies, everything?
No, I don't think there is small hydros. Anybody has done thing, and In India, we have set up one federation for the Indian Small Hydropower Association, but the job of the association is more on like taking the policies related matter with the government and regulatory bodies. But there is nothing like that because small hydro, honestly speaking, at the moment business is, 5-10 years back, like in Sri Lanka, is almost it is coming in a standstill still. In Nepal, it will go because now they will grow fast. Similarly, this will grow fast in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India. It is going slowly. One used to have 300 megawatt. Now it's only 100 megawatt every year. So I would say that nobody. But if you are interested, you can approach. You can see more details on hydropower and dams. There is a journal which comes out from London which covers both, and you should also attend some of the international meetings where small hydro have separate sections, and there are a lot of exhibitions where people try to institute it also there. By the way, I am organizing a 2-hour session on new technology on 22nd between 11:30 to 13:30, where 8 new technologies will be presented on a small conference. It's online. If you like, I can share with you the link for that, and that you will join on that day, 23rd. It's only new technology, so we are getting a couple of technology from outside, where they will be speaking on new technology of small hydropower. But I don't think there is any well-established network. It used to be a HP network, but they are for very small project, 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt kind of thing. The HP net is still there, but they are for isolated project, off-grid projects. They are not commercial projects. And today is the time when we're talking about more on commercial projects. All right.
Okay,
I think
sir.
we must close it. We must close. Yes, please.
So we'll meet again after break at 2 Pakistan time. Thank you very much, Rajesh sir, and all who contributed and
Thank you, sir.
participated.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for giving me opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.